What's up, sports fans? This is the Lucas Ross Sports Channel. It is time to give you my updated college football playoff predictions heading into Week 7 of the 2024 college football season. I have made some major changes here once again. We have made some major changes here for the last couple weeks based off of the chaos that we have seen. I feel like Week 6 and Week 5 were just more chaotic than we did not expect, and I think going into Week 7 we could see another chaotic weekend. So I have made one change for some Power 4 champion, and then also I've made some changes for the other at-large teams. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. Let's take a look at the bracket here for the playoff. So these are my updated Power 4 champions. I got Texas at number 1 now, based off of Alabama and Georgia now losing for the last couple of weeks. Alabama lost this past weekend, and then a couple weeks ago Georgia lost, so those were my number 1 seeds from the last 2 weeks, and now we got Texas here at number 1. Ohio State at number 2, and then Miami at number 3, and then Kansas State at number 4. So these are my top 4 Power 4 champions, and Texas gets in here at number 1 just because of those losses for Alabama and Georgia. And then Boise State, I still have them as my Group of 5 champion. They're probably the best Group of 5 champion, or best Group of 5 team, and UNLV just got beat. So Boise State definitely probably the favorite to win the Mountain West Conference championship in my opinion. So I got Boise State here at number 12. Let's now get to the at-large teams. At number 5, I got the Georgia Bulldogs. So I think it's going to be Texas versus Georgia, in my opinion, in the SEC championship, just based off of what is going to go on as of right now. Again, the SEC championship is a really tough one to predict because you got Texas might be the favorite right now, and then you got Georgia, Alabama, Ole Miss. Texas A&M not really that far behind in the conversation. Missouri, I think, is likely out of it, but you look at, the SEC, it's definitely wide open for that second spot. And I think Georgia, I think they would have a good enough resume, and also losing the conference championship, that would probably get them here at number 5. So I got Georgia at number 5. Number 6 for me is the Oregon Ducks. I feel like Georgia and Oregon are pretty close, but, I feel like Georgia definitely would have a better resume here than Oregon. I got Oregon as of right now beating Ohio State in the regular season. That's going to be a really good matchup coming up this weekend. I believe it's coming up this weekend if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that should be a good one. I think that probably decides maybe who's the number 2 seed for me next week. But Ohio State and Oregon are pretty close. I mean, I think Oregon, as of right now, would win the regular season matchup, and then Ohio State would beat them, in the conference championship. So I got Oregon at number 6. Number 7, that's actually Alabama. So I know Alabama lost to Vanderbilt. They probably wouldn't have enough resume to get into the playoff, but they would probably still have a good enough resume. You look at their schedule, they got games against Tennessee, LSU, and Oklahoma coming up, and if those teams can still be really good, I think that would probably give them enough to be in the playoff. And also, they got that win over Georgia, so I don't think the committee is going to penalize Alabama that much for the loss to Vanderbilt, but either way, I got the Crimson Tide here at number 7. They were at number 1 for me last week. I actually picked them to win the national championship last week, but that's not the case for this week. Number 8 for me is Clemson. Clemson, they're probably the second best team in the ACC right now. I think they are going to go to the ACC championship still, and they probably would lose to Miami, but it's pretty close. I'm thinking about changing my pick here between Clemson and Miami, but we'll see what happens here for the rest of the few weeks. Number 9 for me is Tennessee. I know Tennessee got beat, this past weekend as well. There still is a path, though, for the Vols. I mean, they still got Alabama on the schedule. I mean, they already beat Oklahoma. Oklahoma's a pretty good team. And they also got, other games. I think they got, Kentucky coming up, even though that might not be like a really good one on their resume. But Tennessee, I think they can probably get in if they beat Alabama. They also got Georgia on the schedule. And I think if they lose to lose to Georgia, they probably would get in here as a number 9 seed. But we'll see what happens here for the rest of the way going for the Vols. And then number 10 is Penn State. So Penn State, I think would have a good enough resume to get in here as a 10-2 team. As of right now, I think they can only lose 2 games, to be honest. They got Ohio State on the schedule coming up. I mean, that will be probably good enough on their resume to get in there as an at-large team, and they'll probably be number 10 for me. So Penn State here at number 10, and then number 11 is actually Notre Dame. So Notre Dame gets in here based off of their resume. They got a win over Texas A&M, which is a really huge win for them. They got a win over a Louisville team, but I think they would probably be at number 11 because of that Northern Illinois loss. So I got the Fighting Irish here at number 11. Again, this is a tough playoff prediction just because of all the chaos that we've had in the last couple of weeks. So let's now make predictions here. If these games were to happen tomorrow, I got Tennessee beating Clemson there in the first round. That would be a pretty good matchup. I got to go with the Vols there. And then Georgia, I got them beating Boise State pretty easily. Alabama beats Penn State just because of the home field advantage, and then Oregon beats Notre Dame because of the home field advantage as well. So now let's get to the quarterfinals. In the quarterfinals, I got Texas beating Tennessee. That would be a pretty big matchup, but I'm going to go with the Longhorns. And then Georgia here, I got them beating Kansas State. Georgia definitely is the better team. And then Ohio State, I got them beating Alabama, and then Miami beating Oregon. I think that Miami and Oregon game is still a tough one to call, but I do trust Cam Ward kind of like big games like this, just like how he did against the California game. So I got Miami moving on to the semifinals. And then in the semifinals, it's kind of like my preseason prediction, except, Georgia is not number 1, and then Texas here is now officially at number 1. We go to the championship game, and I do got Texas winning it all. So I got Texas beating Georgia in the semifinals and then also beating Ohio State in the national championship. I think Texas might be the best team in the country right now. So, and they're undefeated. They're the first place team in the SEC. So I got Texas winning my national championship in week 7. I think we could see another chaos weekend going into this weekend as well. But those are my updated playoff predictions heading into week 7. Let me guys know what you think about my playoff predictions, and also give me your updated 12-team playoff predictions down in the comments below. Thanks for watching this video, and stay tuned here for more sports content videos on my Lucas Ross Sports YouTube channel.